next we are going to cover a variable panel and what are the options available in the on the variable panel. Okay, and go to variable panel and look at here. So we know that this is a variable name and this is the variable type, and the scope I will tell you what it is, and we have a other option, default value. Okay, and this variable name is mandatory. Okay, and also make sure that while creating variable, and you have to follow the best practice method. Okay, and I tell you what are the things we should not do and what we can do. Let's say if I give number something variable name like expo, then it will not accept. Okay, because the variable name always start with alphabet. Okay, then if I can I give like this variable name student name like this? No, this is not correct way to name your container variable. Okay, so always follow the best practice method, either camel case or upper lower combination. Okay, let's say if I say camel case, my first letter should be lower, student name like this. Okay, or else, so let's say student student name like this. First letter should be upper and the second word, the first letter should be upper like this. Or else you can name it like student underscore any name like this. Okay, so just look at these three options. I can started with lowercase and the other word it's upper, and then I started with upper, and then I started with all lower. Okay, so you can follow any one of this method. I always follow first letter should be capital and the next word first letter should be capital. This is my approach. Okay, this is how we can name our variable. And also the other important step is we should not have similar variable name within the same variable panel. Okay, that is incorrect. Okay, so we need to follow only one variable name. There should not be duplicate. Okay, that is the step number 1. And this variable type, so you can always choose your variable type, so based on your value or your based on what you are going to store in it. Okay, that is the other important step. So let's say you are in the student name your variable type is string. Can you store the student name into number? No, you cannot. Okay, so let's say you want to store a data table. So let me create a data table, dt student data, and so if can I store a data table into string? No, you cannot. So you need to select data table variable type. So always make sure that your data type, variable data type should be based on your values, what you are going to store as a values. And this scope is again very important thing. So let's say here I have a sequence. Okay, so every sequence we call it as a scope. Okay, so if you are created a variable and if your scope is this in this particular sequence name, you can call your variable within this scope, within this sequence. So there is a sequence. No, you may be confusing with this because this is automatically created by the UiPath Studio. Go to here, there is a sequence. Okay, activity panel, so drag and drop. So this is sequence, right? So this is we call it as a scope. Let's say this scope is doing calculation about employee calculation, employee bonus calc. So I have a sequence, the separate sequence to handle only employee calculations. Okay, so if I go here, if I click this, there will be two scope. One is employee bonus calc and employee variable. So if you are declared a variable in this managing variable, this is the parent one. So then you can able to access your variable anywhere in this workflow. Okay, let's say I'm going to drag and drop this assign activity into this sub sequence. You can say, no, you have a house. Okay, this is your house. So inside house, this is your one of your room. Okay, this is a special bedroom. So whatever you kept in this bedroom, that you cannot see it, you cannot access no, outside the entire home, right? So you can only, this is because this is specifically for this sequence. So let's call this let's say employee department. So here the scope is parent, the entire thing. So if you click this, and you will see the highlighted, the dark highlighted, it will be available, the entire entire parent block. So can I call this employee department here? Yes, you can call. Okay, then what we cannot call here? So here you can call everything, but let me create a one variable from it within this sequence. Okay, let's create employee bonus. Okay, employee bonus. I created a variable within this sequence. If you go and see the employee bonus here, the scope is added like employee bonus because we created the variable here. And you can change it. No, you can create a variable here in this variable panel. You can change it here. But I created variable here, and it is available in under the scope. Can I call this employee bonus outside of this sequence? Can I try it? Go to click here and the variable here you see employee department, you can see employee experience, employee age, name, data, but you cannot call this employee bonus because it is added into only specific this workflow. So when you want to specify your scope, you have other questions, right? So if you are thinking that no, if you think that this I created this variable, I'm not going to use it anymore outside. I'm going to use only within this sequence. Then you can specify your scope. Okay, and because most of the scenario, the developers are no, they created the variable, but they are no, sometimes they will face the difficulty. So if I call something like activity, and hey, I created a variable here, but I don't get it. Why? What is the reason? So I created employee bonus, but I didn't get this option. Why? Because immediately go and check your scope. The scope will be defined in a separate sequence. Okay, that is all about scope. And the default value, sometime if you want to test some workflows, okay, in this workflow you need to provide a default value. So you can provide the department like default value, how you are now providing it here. So that is for testing purpose, we can give a default one. And the other important thing, yeah, you know how to create a variable and what is the best standard practice you need to follow to create your variable. And the other important thing, while you make sure that while you creating your variable, just you need to add an annotation, because if someone tomorrow, let's say you are working in an organization 2-3 years and you have developed a bot and you created a lot of variables here, and you left the organization, okay, after 2-3 years, and the another developers coming in, and they they had a chance to do a changes, or do a change request in that particular bot, or else consider the other scenario, the bot facing issue, the bot unable to execute as it is expected. Then the new developer, they should analyze the entire bot, right? So then while they coming into this workflow, they should clearly see the step by step and seeing this step, okay, arranged by you, and they can immediately get the process steps very simple manner. Okay, why they need to refer the documents, PDD and the solution design document and other stuff. Hey, in this activity they are they are doing like this, and this activity they are performing this calculation. Okay, so I understood through this process, I understood the entire I mean through this development, I can understand the entire process. That's how you need to deliver your process. So um so let's say uh where I'm okay, so here if you go to this variable, then right click and go to design properties, and here there is a tooltip. I think you might aware of tooltip. What is tooltip? And if you go to any website and any text box, and if you over your no, if you are over your mouse on the particular text box, you will get some hint. Hey, please enter your name. Please enter your age, something like that. Right here, you need to specify what is the purpose of this variable. The employee department. Okay, to store employee department names. Okay, that's it. Just specify this particular variable used for what. Same like no here. So this is also best practice method, because in the upcoming hands-on experience, in the upcoming use case submission, everything I always look at this all the whether the uh, candidate is followed the best practice method or not. So if you are not following the best practice method, you are not a good developer. Okay, you cannot deliver, you cannot build the perfect bot. You cannot deliver the perfect bot. If you are not following the best practice method, if you develop any bot, if you are found that the bot is working fine, that my job is over. If you think that my job is over, I can deploy it because it is working fine. In the future, if there is any error comes in, the other developers, the other person, even the same developer whoever build the same bot, they cannot identify the issue. It will be very very difficult. So as a beginner, as a developer, make sure that always follow the right direction, right, apply the best practice method whenever you start building your bots. Okay, that's it. And the other option is convert to argument. Sometime and sometimes you may created the variable, but you think that this variable is I need to pass it to the other workflow. Let's say you have created a variable, but this is not a variable. This output should go to the other workflow. I tell you this is all about argument. I tell you later, but now understand that I create a variable, but I am not going to utilize that particular variable value within this workflow. I want to pass it from this workflow to another workflow. Then you can convert this argument to, the variable to argument. Then your variable jump into this panel, argument panel. If you think this is okay, I don't want this to variable argument panel, I want to convert this to as a variable panel, you can convert it. Because earlier it was very difficult. What we do, so we need to we do copy this like this, and we do go here in the argument panel and we do paste it. That's how we have done. But in the latest version, we had a option like converting to variable, converting to arguments. Okay, then copy paste, you are aware of, you can copy here and you can paste it in a other workflow. Let's say I have the same variable I'm going to utilize from in the other workflow also. I can copy this, go here and go to variable panel and select here, I can paste it. So this is how you can, no need to copy this, only this, because you need to, whenever you are copying your variable, you should copy the variable name and variable type, everything. Okay, that is how you can do the copy. And delete, already you know that, and design property and other important things, find reference. So if I use if I want to say, let's say I came here in the variable panel, I want, because there are in the, if you check it in the outline panel, there are a lot of activities available here. Hey, I have a variable here, I want to find where this variable used in this entire workflow. I don't want to check a here my experience is there variable name. No, that is a not correct way. And go to here the employee experience, this variable name, right click, find a reference, click on find a reference. It will tell you that, hey, your variable name utilized here in this variable folder, managing variable XAML. Yeah, yes, managing variable, here it is. And inside there is a assign. Oh yeah, yes, assign. Then to employee experience. In the two they have used employee experience. Okay, so that's how you can identify. No need to go and check each and every workflow where I am now using that variable. Okay, that is all about variable panel.